everybody, and welcome back to Holy Chicken Crafts. Today is episode 2, and I was very excited. I got a lot more response on the first video than I thought I would, and yeah. So I hope you guys are excited for the progress you get to see today. So a few notes before we start. First is the elephant in the room. I got my hair colored and cut yesterday. It still looks like a blueberry got smashed on my head, but I plan to take a shower this afternoon and try to scrub my scalp under some cold water to see how much of that I can remove. But it is, it's purple. So I've had this haircut before. Although the lady, I don't think the lady did the cut the way I like. It's still flipping in the back, and that's not my favorite, but I went for more of the color this time. So she used a purple mixed with blue for my roots, and then just straight purple for my ends. 11-year-old Alexa would be so happy right now. Been wanting to do purple for a long time, and I had a retail job for a long time. My boss now, honestly, I will be surprised if he notices tomorrow right away. It may wait until after one of the other ladies in the office mention it. Now, don't get me wrong, he tries to notice things. He's just very busy. So, second bit, for those of you who haven't seen the first episode yet, I am Alexa. I work in water treatment. I cross stitch a lot. I knit some. I crochet very little. I have tried sewing on occasion. I am not very good. However, hopefully I can get some more practice in on that after Easter. I'm taking a week off of vacation and tackling the craft clutter behind me and trying to dig out my desk. So we'll see, because I'm currently at my husband's desk. He is kind enough to be taking a nap right now and letting me use his computer and desk so that I can see my stats while I'm talking. I am 34. Wow, did I have to do the math? Yes, apparently. I'm 34. I've been married for 7 years. I have 2 fur babies. I'm going to try this time to insert a clip of at least the cat at the beginning. The first episode was really rough because I wasn't 100% sure how to do a couple things. This time I should be able to insert pictures. I was playing with the first video earlier today, and I'm hoping that I can insert pictures of last week's progress versus what it's supposed to look like. All right. At least that's the plan. I also would like to insert a clip of my cat that I have on my phone because he is so cute. And if I can, I'll insert a few pictures of my dog. I think we had a video pop up recently of her about 4 years ago. She's turned 5 just recently, where she was dolphin diving through snowbanks, and I think that would be a really cute one to add to the end of the video. I'll probably add that and the flicky clip at the end of the video. I worked on a lot the last 2 weeks. So this is actually going to be the stats for the whole month of February because I still haven't figured out how to split up the stats for the 2 weeks without doing a bunch of math. And it is Sunday morning. I did not say that. It is Sunday morning, March 3rd, and I'm not doing math. Oh, well, it's not morning anymore. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But for those of us night owls, when they're not working, I just got up a little bit ago. So, yeah. Also, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to comment, feel free to talk. My handles are a little weird on the internet just because it was Angelfowl for a very long time. When I got Instagram, Angelfowl was taken. so I had something else. So that's why my Instagram handle is different from my TikTok handle and different than my YouTube channel name. My Angel Fowl YouTube is where I watch everything, and I've had it for so long that I'm like, I'm just gonna make a new channel for this. And I've always wanted to use Holy Chicken, because growing up, I guess I didn't explain this the first time. Oops, I'm sorry. Growing up when I was 13, my dad had me make my first email address, and I was reading the Artemis Fowl books by Ian Colfer. And so I decided on Angel Fowl as the front of the name because I'm terrible at making up things sometimes, even though I was wanting to be a writer for years. Anyway, so from then on, my online handle for years was Angel Fowl, and still is in a lot of places. I have gone to the point where even if somebody in person says Angel, my head will probably snap at least once. But then a few years ago, one of my brothers pointed out that Angel Holy Fowl Chicken, even though it's not spelled the right way, and for whatever reason, it made me giggle, and I didn't think Aggressive Penguin would go well, just because I think that one's hysterical. So I worked on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 projects. I didn't realize I worked on 8 projects. I have like the numbers laid out in front of me, and then they're all in a pile next to me. Actually, it's 9, but the 9th one, I'm going to insert pictures of the progress and talk about at the end because I just started it yesterday. So the other thing that was really cool that's new is I am recording this on my iPad Air. It is very old. I got it in like 2019, 2020. It's like 6-7 years old. So I'm recording on this. I, however, do all of my cross stitch on my phone, which has Pattern Keeper, which is what I prefer. I have tried Markup RXP before. I made so many mistakes. That project is still in timeout because I started a lot of full coverage since, because I have a lot of full coverage. Anyway, so my husband is started a new job a couple months ago, and he recently got hired on full-time. He was a temp hire for a while. He got hired on full-time, and this last paycheck was ginormous because of that. And so he let me get a new tiny tablet because I wanted something bigger than my phone, but the iPad is too big for one, and it's also an iPad, and I wanted to use Pattern Keeper. And so, because for some of my full coverages, like, so this is the LinaOva tab. It's like $90 on Amazon, so it wasn't terrible. I have a Sailor Moon thing. I have a Sailor Moon problem. So you see my backgrounds on a lot of things. It's Sailor Moon. You will be surprised I don't have a lot of Sailor Moon going right now, but one of my first cross-stitch projects was In the Name of the Moon, Shut the Fuck Up. I can't find it, otherwise I would show you. I actually got that pattern in 23. I went and looked the other day because that was when I first like officially started cross-stitching a lot. So it was in 2023. And I got that pattern to try, and I tried it with Pattern Keeper, and it's on some like Michael Aida 14 count, and I can't find it. If I could find it, I would show it to you because it's the funniest thing in the world. But that was my first like real foray into cross stitch, and I really wanted to do some bigger Sailor Moon patterns, but I don't do fancy ladies, but oh, what is her name? Make It Pink has a beautiful, beautiful Sailor Moon or Serenity piece, but I am terrified of it. If I can think about it, I am going to try to put a picture. This is going to be myself reminding me to put a picture of the Sailor Moon Make It Pink piece. Sailor Moon or Serenity, either one. But I'm scared of it because it has blends and it's got beads and it's ginormous. And I've never done like a fancy lady. Most of the Mirabilias and Nora Corvids don't really appeal to my sense of style, I guess. I don't know. I've done mostly full coverage or like little like graphic small things just to take to work. But that one's on my list of someday. Anyway, this is the LinaOva tab. It was like $89 on Amazon, and it has like a 12.5-hour battery life. It has like 80% battery by the time I make it home from work, and I cross stitch all day at work most of the time. Even came with the case and everything, and Pattern Keeper is gorgeous on it. Like, I am so used to like it being tiny, but like it's not tiny. I'm used to having to like, you know. Anyway, so that was one of my big things the last 2 weeks. I was really excited. My husband tried to surprise me with it. It was last weekend it came, and it's been a joy, absolute joy. Yeah, we're 11 minutes in. We need to get to the cross stitching. All right, so last week, as I said when we parted ways, my plan that day was to either restart Persephone or start with Blooms from Death. Well, spoiler alert, I have not started with Blooms from Death yet. So I worked on Persephone. I'm going to try to remember to put a picture of Persephone right here. We're going to let it sit for a moment because I didn't think about it when, because I want to put the picture of the chart, and then I want to put a picture of, well, I can't put a picture of last week's progress for this one because I restarted it the day that I recorded this. So this is Persephone Restart. It has gotten 6 days. It is at 4.10%. It has 4,944 stitches out of 120,528. So this is just the restart that has these stats, and I worked on 6 days last week. You're not gonna see much because I'm trying the typewriter method by Stitching Mommy Steve. Sorry, that's a meme that my husband and I enjoy a lot. Stitching Mommy on FlossTube does typewriter method where you pick the most top left symbol and you stitch it out. I have had a hard time with parking recently, so I'm just stitching. However, this piece is very black at the beginning. So so that's almost 2 full rows of the black. However, her halo starts in this next section right up here. That's actually why I paused, because it comes this way and then her halo is like right here is where it starts. So I have to keep an eye out because I can't do the feathering I've been doing with that. This is on 28 count, 2/1 10 stitch with just all of the DMC. I have a giant cone of doom. Actually, I have 2 now because what Blooms from Death also has like 70,000 black stitches or something. So this one has 60 something thousand and it's only 120,000 stitches. So this is 4%. My goal that, ooh, just saw my fingernails. I apologize. My head is staining my fingernails this weekend. So if you notice, yeah, I can't get it off. I'm gonna try to in the shower in a little bit, but anyway. So I was trying for 5%, but my husband pointed out that I only started this 2 weeks ago, and last month on the bigger piece I had gotten to 8%, and I had started it in November. So I gave myself a little grace and aimed for 4 because there was something else I wanted to start last night that I will explain at the end of the video because it's not something I can show you very well. It is cross stitching. However, I may cry while I talk about it. We'll see. Anyway, so this is Persephone by ThreadGeeks. Charted by ThreadGeeks, arts by Chrissabug. I love her art. I have like 8 different charts of hers that were charted by ThreadGeeks, and you cannot get them by ThreadGeeks anymore. However, Unconventional X Stitch has picked up Chrissabug, and at least one of the charts I have, Unconventional X Stitch has redone, and I'm trying to decide if I should do that one or the ThreadGeeks one. I don't know if the Unconventional X Stitch is better or not. So if you have an opinion, let me know. Because this is my first ThreadGeeks, and it's fine. Like, I have different stuff from different pattern makers right now. So far, the Haid is the most confusing. No, I take that back. Izzy is the most confusing. However, there's just a lot of blue in the section I was in. Anyway, so, Persephone by Chrissabug, charted by ThreadGeeks. It is at 4.10%, and it's about 4,944 stitches. I probably should have done another couple, but I've been doing it by block across the top, and I didn't really want to do more. So, that was our first piece. So, if you were here last week, I actually spun, or 2 weeks ago, I actually spun for my smalls that week, and Haunted Doll Shop was on it. I did work on the other one, which is Serperpuss. I love saying that phrase, but I hate it at the same time. Sorry. Pop. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I have pop, and it's diet pop, and so, but sometimes it makes me a little. Okay. Anyway. God, this is my brain. I have ADHD. I took my meds, but I'm still everywhere. So I worked on Haunted Doll Shop. I only worked on it for 1 day. That was all my brain could do because, I got rid of all the threads. I got rid of all of the parked threads. I was excited. Oh crap. I hope I put the picture up before this. I'm gonna try to watch the video before I do things so that I can put it up at the right time. Anyway, this is the Haunted Doll Shop. I put all the parked threads in, and I did 1,291 stitches. It is at 63.12%, and the overall total is 39,452 out of 62,500. So, but yeah, most of the work I did was in this area, just putting in those parked threads and weaving all the stuff in. So if it comes back out again, I'll just continue to work on the awning in that section over there, and then probably continue doing almost like the typewriter method across, because that seems to be what's working for me right now. That is one of my oldest WIPs. I started this last year. Some of my older WIPs are currently in crates behind me, and because I went through a crochet phase briefly, and so they're all in like the bins behind me. So this is the only one I have out and I'm actively working on, that I have listed in my spreadsheet. So that only got 1 day. That got 1 full work day. I found that if it's one of my normal, like, just have to answer phones work day, I get about 1,000 stitches on a full cross piece and about 2,000 on a tent piece. But it also depends on my brain, because I know the other one that I spun was Serperpuss. However, I give myself the option to change my mind and add something in. I tried to start Poison Dart Frog, but I have to find my smaller Nerd Hope, because the one I have is too big for the fabric, and because it's a gift for someone, I want to make sure that I do it right. And I can't find my small nurge. I don't know where it is. It's like a little purple one. I got like the 3-pack. Sorry. I got like, well, actually, I got like a medium one to start. And then once I figured out that I liked them, I got a 3-pack of like the large, medium, and like extra small or whatever. So, I did that. The next one we're going to talk about is the Beauty and the Beast sampler. And yeah, we're going to talk about that one. So, because I'm remembering this time, this is what it's going to look like. Kind of. It's just the mock-up. This is where I was 2 weeks ago. And this is where I got to. So, this one is on 28 count. 2/1 half cross on Picture This Floss Huntress, and it is done with Gentle Arts PunchBerry. I think this looks fantastic. However, the fluorescent lights at my job make it a little hard to see the holes if I am not 100% green that day. So I got quite a bit done one day and then went to go pull it out another day and went, no. So this only got 3 days in February, because one of the days I tried to pull it out, I think I did like 99 stitches and then like one length of thread, and I went, no. I got the brain. So my plan is to do the border first, although I'm a little concerned because like there's not a lot between that, the middle and the top. Like, I did the math, and it's supposed to fit. We'll see. I'm going to continue to work on the border. It's kind of what I do on pieces that have borders, is I try to finish the whole border. And then do the fun fill-in, because if I don't do the whole border, I'm going to not finish the border. So, but yeah. My stitches don't look too bad, although some of them are kind of funky. So yeah, this is the Beauty and the Beast sampler. It's by LinaOva. I didn't tell you who Haunted Doll Shop was by. I am so sorry. I have it on here, I think. Oh. Of course, it is under the camera. Nope, that just says Digital Patterns. If you look on Etsy for like haunted Japanese doll shop, you'll find it. I forget the name of the shop, and I always try to remember to go grab it, but I don't. This is by LinaOva on Etsy. She has a lot of these like samplers for like The Great Gatsby and Pride and Prejudice, and I think there's one for The Little Mermaid. Yeah, so that's what I got done. Only 1,881 stitches on that one out of 39,942 for 4.71%, and that was only 3 days in February. So the next one is actually the one I got the most work on. And I think because I was very brain dead this last couple of weeks, because my husband had to go to Indianapolis for a few days for a job, and then he's been back and forth from like Fort Wayne and Michigan, and like we're in the northern Indiana, and so his area for work is massive, and sometimes he won't get home until like 10 o'clock at night. And so I'm kind of brain dead. Weirdly, I don't do well when my husband's not home. I like him too much, I guess. I don't know. Don't let the boomers hear about that. Which is funny, because this next one is a piece for him. So this is the Last Unicorn. The chart is by GlitchStitchAU, and I got it off Etsy. It got 6 days in the month of February, and it got 8,152 stitches. I think that's the most any of my projects have gotten this month. Yeah. It also, yeah, because it was started, hold on, I have it right here. Yeah, because it was started the 3rd of February. So it's the most I got done this month on one piece. This is where it was last time. So 8,152 stitches out of 90,000 stitches. And I worked on it for 6 days this month. And a lot of those days were at work because this one has a small enough color palette that I could take it to work. And I'm gonna love this jump, right? Because it was not very much last time. Not at all, right? Hi. So I did a lot. So the is actually all filled in. The L and A in this one are not yet. I was gonna finish going around them all before I filled them in with white. So my plan for this one, so this is 25 count, 2/1 half stitch with the called for colors. My plan right now is I'm doing the last all the way across, and then the next section is unicorn, and I'm just going to do however big that is across. And then from there we'll decide, because I know it gets into some more fiddly bits. The sky bit is very blocky. It looks really good though. Like, yeah, so the has stitching, and you can kind of see last does not. But like, isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? I like it. It's fun. So this got a lot this time at work because it was just mindless like filling. So yeah, the Last Unicorn. And yeah, ironically enough, this is for my husband. He grew up with this movie. He loves this movie. He has never asked me to make him anything. However, I realized at some point that I had made stuff for a bunch of friends already, and he was not one of them. So I decided to work on a bigger piece for him. The goal for this one really is by like our 10th anniversary, and we just celebrated our 7th in November. So at this rate, I should be done by then, if not sooner. So yeah, the Last Unicorn. All right. So next is a new start that I had talked about. Here is the knockout. So this is Izzy, my dog, charted by Cross Stitch for Everyone. It does not have a previously on the podcast picture because I started it the 18th of February. And I didn't get a lot done. I got about 1,000 stitches on it in 2 days. I'm finding that with more and more full coverage projects on the go, I'm not getting as much done on each one. However, I like the variety. So this was created and charted by Cross Stitch for Everyone. I found it because of Stitching with Mel. She's doing one of her dog Dizzy, which is funny because my dog's name's Izzy. She's my Izzy girl. She's actually snoring right now with my husband. But she is a mutt. She is 45% pit bull. And then like, well, because when we rescued her, they told us that she was a Great Dane Hound. And I grew up with beagles and I wanted a big dog. And I was like, oh, well, let's go. I'm used to dogs baying. Let's go. I grew up with 2 beagles. She did not get very tall. Like, she's big. She's big for, like, a hound. But, like, she's not Great Dane. She's 90 pounds right now. And honestly, she probably should actually be about 80. Like 75 or 80, but she's a trunker. She's built like a barrel. And so we did actually get a DNA test from her a long time ago. And she's 45% pit bull, which we weren't expecting. Although after seeing that, we kind of gathered because of her build and her bicycle seat head. because I love her. But then she's also like Australian Shepherd and Lab and like 5% Basset Hound. And I'm just like, oh, so we got a high energy dog. And I did not sign up for a high energy dog. I thought it was a beagle who, the only high energy we get is if we see something that it wants. So, if you put a ball in front of her face, she will not stop. You have to hide it. We have to hide balls in the house. Because she will want to play fetch until her legs fall off. Anyway, so I started this on the 18th. I only did 2 days. I did 1,043 stitches. This one's also 90,000 stitches. And it's 1.16%. I think the reason that this one didn't get as much work done as the Last Unicorn is because, one, I started it later in the month, like, obviously. But also, it's a lot more confetti than the Last Unicorn. The Last Unicorn's a lot of block stitching right now. But here's where we are. So this is the upper left-hand corner. This is 25 count 2 over 1 half cross. And it was really pretty. Like, I like the variation of the color, and like every time I pull out a really cool color, I'm like, ooh, okay, let's go. That's fun. And this piece is big enough. I just have it folded because it's just easier to show you the little bit I have. So that's just a little over 1,000 stitches. It's going really well, actually. It's not hard. It's just takes a little bit more brain power than like the Last Unicorn does, or like Persephone, and so I have to like decide what I'm working on depending on how much brain power I have. So, but yeah, this is Izzy. This is the start. I contemplated starting in the middle. However, this is a very large piece of fabric and I didn't want to cut it yet. And so starting in the middle would have like 8 inches of fabric on like the top and bottom. And so I decided to start at the top with a bit more margin and see where we go. So, yeah. I mean, those colors are fun. It's like grays, and some of those blues are a lot brighter in person, man. I don't know. Yeah. So, I did start Izzy. So, for the month of February, I only had 3 goals. And one goal was for me to start the Last Unicorn, which I did. Got that one. Goal 2 was to get 5% in the Persephone. That changed from 10 because I had gotten 8 before. I only got 4, so technically didn't get that one. The last goal is my monthly goal that I always have, which is I have only one Hade on the go. It is this one. It is Hades and Persephone by Margaret Morales, charted by Hade. It is 294,500 stitches, and my goal for a while right now is just 1% a month. So I started on Christmas Eve, and so we are at 2.09%. It only got 2 days of stitching in February, which is fine. I'm sure at some point I will want to ramp up how much I work on it, but at least this way it's getting some progress as far as we go, because this thing is massive. This is like a blanket, but I'm only gonna do this. So this is where, well, this is where we were. This is where we are. So the only thing I really did was work in this area right here. I decided to go back to 50 Shades of Grey Hell and fill some more of that in. Don't know why, just felt like it. Although I started this piece, had not taken my medicine yet, and was staring at it like, oh my god, I can't do this. And then as soon as my ADHD meds kicked in, I went, okay, never mind, I got this. Never mind, I got it. It took a minute. Oh my god, it took a minute to like remember how to do it. Because like there is a lot of confetti. And I really just have to focus on a 10 by 10 and just like go. So, but yeah. So this is at 6,158 stitches out of 294,500, and it is at 2.09% done. So that is my, what I've been calling my magnum opus, because it's going to take me forever. So we only have 3 known projects left, and then I will talk about the random one that I haven't talked about yet that I started that seems a lot more mysterious than it is, but it's a long story. Pop break. Alright. Next up, we have Server Plus by Need a Lot Designs. For most of the fabric so far, it's mostly been gridded. If it is on a fancy fabric, I will tell you. This one is 18 count Aida. It is vintage country mocha, I believe, from, I don't remember. I bought it at a local shop, 45 minutes away, local. And she actually cut it to size for me, which was really nice of her. This is where it was last time. And for the month of February, it has 2,913 stitches, bringing it up to 28.99%. It was worked on for 3 days. I think 2 of those were since last time I filmed. And here we are now. So, don't mind the creases. I fold them when they're not in their hoops. So I finished outlining the skull and the bottom of the cat's body, and was working on the frame. I'm trying to figure out, because the cat has gold teeth, and my husband thought it'd be really cool if I could figure out how to put a gold tooth on the skull head. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm thinking about trying to figure, if I mess it up, then I just rip it out, right? Anyway, so that's what I did. I love Need a Lot's design, because that just looks like a cat chest. You know, with all the muscles and everything. Like, my gosh. It looks so good. So yeah, this is Server Plus. He has 3 heads. I'm doing the heads last, because I want to. I kind of did the same thing on a couple other pieces, where like, on the Mythical Beast Sal, I did Pegasus, just the horse, and then I did his wings last. On Cerberus, on that same Sal, I did his body, and I did the heads last. I kind of save the most fun bit for last sometimes. Gets me through some of the boring bits that you know. And also, I love her designs because they just kind of flow one color into the next, which is so nice. Because, like, it looks complicated, but it just kind of flows together. And you can get a lot done as it kind of flows into one another. So, yeah. This is Server Plus by Need a Lot Designs on Vintage Country Mocha. It's by whoever does Vintage Country Mocha. I did it because it looks like sand dunes, and he's kind of Egyptian. Yeah. So, that's that one. Next is the Kraken, which is actually called I'm a Sucker for You. They Need a Lot Design. I'm doing it on 18 count squid ink. I don't know why I keep clicking my T's. It's by, or K's? I don't know. I believe it's by Needle Art. At least that's what the tag said. We're back. Somebody was coming in and downstairs, and my dog went crazy. So, we were talking about I'm a Sucker for You. I call it the Kraken, just because. I Need a Lot Designs. This is where it was. And I did. So I actually started it this month. So I started it on the 2nd of February. I got the ship done. Yeah. The ship looks so cool. Anyway, here it is. So I think the last time I was in the middle of the ship, but the ship's now done, and I've got Sucker and the outline of the Shadows 4. Yeah. He looks real cool. That's another one of his tentacles on this side, coming down, because he's holding the ship. There's still a lot on this side to go, because it's only at 64.77%. It is at 5,496 out of 8,486. Wow, okay. I did 5 days on it. It is a lot of fun. I decided to take a break from the octopus and do the ship, and then I kind of just did the words because something in the ship, I think it was the flags or something, ended up being like the same color as the shadow and Sucker. And so I decided just to work on those. So kind of worked out. Yeah, so this is where we are. This is one of my favorites. I love this. I think I'm gonna backstitch our wedding date on top of that tentacle. Hold on. I'm gonna backstitch. Whoa, okay. I think I'm gonna backstitch like right here. Our like wedding date or something. Just something silly. Because my husband loves puns and we're like a mythological fans, and this would just be kind of cute. But anyway. That is I'm a Sucker for You by Needle Art Design. Fabric by Needle Art, I believe. It's squid ink, and it's actually like almost, this is more accurate, it's like neon and gray, kind of. It is really pretty. I found it and I was like, ooh, the Kraken's going on that. Alright, so the last project you'll know about is Persephone by Carolyn Manning. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is one of my other oldest pieces. I think this one is slightly younger than Haunted Doll Shop. This was my first foray onto even weave. So this is 36 count. This is where it was. I only did 1 day on this in February and added 7,000, oh my, 715 stitches. It is at 66, hold on. Yeah, it is at 66.19%. And I have 14,695 out of 22,201. I really just have that corner left. But yeah, it's at 66.19%. I only worked on it for a little bit, and I put in a lot of stuff up here. Just started filling out up there. Took a minute to remember this is actually full cross on 16 count. I said that wrong in my last video. I corrected myself in the description. But this is full cross. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, but yeah, I added this stuff and like this from last time, so I was trying to fill in like from here down. It was the plan. So yeah. So yeah, this is Persephone by Carolyn Manning. I actually also have Hecate kitted up with the other side of this 36 count, but I plan not to start that until this one's done. That one I may start in the middle. I haven't decided. But yeah, that's really pretty. And it's fun. I think I worked on this after I worked on a lot of the Last Unicorn, because I worked on it for like 3 days this last 2 weeks, and 2 of them were back to back. And I was like, okay, so I need something kind of mindless, and this is just like squares and triangles. So I decided that this was probably a good idea. So, all right, so we are up to my last WIP, which is not one you've seen. So this one has a slight story to it. I'm an avid reader. I read mostly fantasy, some horror. I've been on a horror kick recently. But for a while, I really like fairy tale retellings. That's my favorite genre. Anything having to do with fairy tales and retelling them is like some of my favorite books. But I have 2 favorite series, like total. And ironically enough, one of them is sitting here because I was doing it for an annotation for some friends of mine. We were all annotating one book and we were going to rotate, like round robin. But this is one of my favorite book series. This is One Dark Window, the Shepherd series. One Dark Window, Two Dark Crowns is the 2 books, or 2 Twisted Crowns. Sorry. But I love this book. I love the rhyme in the book, which is because it's just so whimsical. It's, you know, it's one of those ones where, like, I don't know. I just love, like, so much about this book. It's so much fun. And so, like, I was annotating it. Because some friends of mine and I were, like, all picking different colors, and we're going to go through different books. I didn't get very far, because, honestly, I don't usually reread books. However, my other favorite book series I have reread twice. On Audible. And I will have a picture here. It is the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. So the reason I'm talking about this in the middle of FlossTube is because I have been on the hunt for a while for a full coverage piece that gives me the vibes of Once Upon a Broken Heart or One Dark Window. Once Upon a Broken Heart is about Jax, the Prince of Broken Hearts, and Eva, Evangeline Fox, whose stepsister is marrying the boy she loves, and she goes to the temple of the Prince of the Broken Hearts to ask him to stop it. It's a trilogy. It's fun. I love Stephanie Garber's, like, world building and, like, the way she describes things and stuff, and I love Jax. This is actually a second series. You don't have to read the first one to read this one, but she is also known for Caraval, which is the first series I read by her, which introduces Jax. But this one is the main character. And so I don't know who, but someone on FlossTube I was watching talked about the Stamped Stitch Club, which is a cross-stitch website that sells, like, bougie stamped kits. Like, we're not talking, like, you get, like, a big flip page of, like, chart with, like, an itty-bitty picture of the chart you're working on, right? We're talking, like, multiple pages of chart, blended threads. They still print them in China. They talk about it on their website, that the resources are already there, but it is printed very clean, very nice. I've done stamped kits before, and so I was browsing because I wasn't going to spend, because they're expensive. However, bought one, and that's actually what I started last night, because I stumbled on this chart. So, oh my god, I might cry. Sorry. I've been looking for a long time for anything related to Jax and Eva, like, at all. And I am 95% sure this art was probably made with ACOTAR in mind, because it's a very ACOTAR is much more popular than Once Upon a Broken Heart. However, the first 2 books of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, at least 1.5, Jax has blue hair. And she goes to the magnificent north. And she's always wearing, like, one of the things about Stephanie Garber books is they're always wearing these, like, fancy dresses. The only thing that would make this Jackson Eva 100% was if her hair was pink. So, I think you know what I'm doing. The art is Rose Catherine Kahn. I actually even went to her Instagram. I think it's a newer art because I found it, the picture of her posting it, but it is not charted anywhere else. The Stamped Stitch Club is the only place that had this chart. I looked. It has 53 colors. However, the color list is 131 colors long. The rest of them are blends. It is 400 by 420. It is stamped. And I started in the bottom left corner. No, wait. I'm confused because I think I started over here because I know where the dress is. I don't remember. I think I started in the bottom left. Yeah, I started over here. Because I want to have ample time to figure out how to reblend or something to make her hair more pink. And then I'm going to add the Archer and the Fox somewhere on here. Because that's like the book that they refer to a lot in the story. There is a story about an archer and a fox, and that's like running parallel with the book. And so I think I may put it in up here somewhere, but I want to personalize it more to be Jax and Eva. Yeah. For at least a book and a half. Yeah, Jax's hair is blue. They went to the magnificent north, and she has these gorgeous ball gowns. And the only thing that would seal the deal is if her hair was pink. So if you have any suggestions on how to rechart her hair, because I believe it's blends, I have not sat down and looked at it yet. That's why I started down here. I would love your opinion, because it's Jackson Eva. Yeah, I love this. The art is by Rose Catherine Kahn. I looked at her Instagram and saw where it was posted. She doesn't really give any details other than it's a fantasy pair, but yeah. So I started this last night. I am not going to show you other than pictures at the moment because it is on a 44-inch scroll frame. It is on 18 count. It is stamped. It is massive. So I'm going to put up here what I did last night. I am not keeping track of stitches, so this may cut into my stitching a little bit, but that's okay. We want us a Jackson Eva moment. I actually am contemplating re-listening to the books while I work on this because I love them that much. Okay, so that is all the stitching right now. We're going to talk about my stats for February real quick, and then I have one book that I want to talk about, and then I am probably going to go play some Assassin's Creed Odyssey because I have not played it in a few weeks, and I just heard that Hex has been announced, which is going to be set in the Holy Roman Empire with witches. And I still have to get through Odyssey and Valhalla and Shadows because I want to play Shadows because Japan is like, I'm a nerd. I grew up with Sailor Moon and like Japanese stuff. And I love mythology, like the Odyssey and like Norse, and so that's why but I also think that that one is going to be really fun. However, the Assassin's Creed games are going to be about like 150-hour games for me, so I'm probably going to play that after this. So let's talk about stats. At the moment, I stitched for 24 days out of 28 in February. I love it. I did a total of 32,461 stitches this month. And that's not counting whatever I did last night on Aida and Jax. That is almost 10,000 stitches. That's like, oh, actually that's more than 10,000 stitches, more than I did last month. Last month, I only did 24 days out of 31. However, I was sick a few times last month. And I did 22,135. Now, granted, I do 10 stitches as the stitch count. I don't half them. That's probably cheating, but I don't care. Makes me feel better. I worked on 13 projects this year. My total stitches for the year so far is 54,596. This is the first year that I've actually tracked my stitching, and I am blown away. I have been having a good time with it, actually, and I love the fact that it actually, the spreadsheet I got from, I think it's called Rainbow Sheets. I wasn't allowed to link things in my last video. I'm trying to get them to let me link things because I'm a brand new channel. So I'm going to try to make them let me link things. This video, we'll see. I have to go through some hoops. But Rainbow Sheets on Etsy has a cross stitch spreadsheet. Now, I don't know how much I've talked about it, but spreadsheets is kind of my job at work. I make them fancy. I make them look cute. We do a lot of things, right? However, I knew it was going to take a long time to make the type of spreadsheet I wanted. This is the one I wanted, and I didn't have to do any of the work. I just had to pay her, and that's fine. It does way more than I was planning on, and I love it. It's amazing. So I will try to link it down below if I can. If you don't see the WIP list or the links right away, I am probably going to do it when I am at an actual computer and not just on my iPad. So they will be there shortly. Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to talk about today is just a book that I was reading. It was really good. I actually have to look up who it's by because I forget. Another FlossTuber recommended it, and I wish I could remember who it was. If I remember who it was or can find out, I will put it down below. But the book was going to be right here. It's A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. That's right. Because T. Kingfisher has popped up a few times in another YouTuber I follow. She does horror books. She plays horror games, but she has another channel where she talks about the horror books she reads, and T. Kingfisher comes up a lot. But she also writes fantasy, which is weird. Anyway, A Sorceress Comes to Call is amazing. It is so much fun. It is tragic as hell, but it is about a dark retelling of the Grimm brothers' Goose Girl. Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms, and her mother doesn't allow Cordelia to have a single friend, unless you count Falada, her mother's beautiful white horse. The only time Cordelia feels truly free is on her daily rides with him, but more than simple eccentricity sets her mother apart. Other mothers don't force their daughter to be silent and motionless for hours, sometimes days on end. Other mothers aren't sorcerers. So, it is about them trying to make their way up in the world because a benefactor of the sorceresses has decided he no longer wants to pay her money for meh. And so she tries to bag a rich man. However, the other point of view in this book is a 50-year-old woman who is snarky as hell, and I love her. She's Hester. Oh my god, she's amazing. I love her. This book had a lot more twists than I thought, and I'm usually really good at calling things ahead of time. But it was excellent. It was so good. So I highly recommend. I actually started another book by this author called Hemlock and Silver. It gives me, if you watch anime, it gives me Mao Mao vibes, because she is a poison practitioner and the king comes asking for help. It played the first chapter at the end of The Sorcerer Comes to Call when I was listening to it on the on my Libby app, and it literally gave me Mao Mao vibes from Apothecary Diaries, which, if you have not watched Apothecary Diaries, the anime, oh my god, what are you doing? It is so fun. It's so great. Oh, so good. Anyway, so I started that one. Other than that, I don't have much else to talk about. I am probably going to get out here and take a quick shower, scrub the blue off my scalp before I go to work tomorrow, and play some Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And then probably edit this little later today, but that's fine. Yeah. So if you guys could like this video, share it with other FlossTubers that you like. Just share it to anyone who thinks they would like the same stuff that I do. That would be awesome. Subscribe if you want. I have 20 subscribers. I was blown away by the fact that my first video got me 20 subscribers. Like, what? What are we talking about? So yeah, seriously, thank you guys so much. I will try to put my notes in for at least what the project's called and how it is being worked in the description. If you have any other questions, please feel free to comment. It's fine. I'm more than happy to answer questions. Yeah. And if you guys have any suggestions on changes to the format of the podcast or of the FlossTube or anything, any suggestions, especially like the couple of things that I've asked so far, how to change the girl's hair color by looking at the chart, and like anything else, let me know. Over the next 2 weeks, my plan is to kind of do it around the 1st of the month and around the 15th of the month for updates. My plan right now is to work on Eva and Jack's Persephone and try to get my 1% on Hades. I'm trying to decide if I want to do a percentile go on Izzy as well. But we'll see. I know I want to get a couple of my older projects off the thing, so I'm still spinning my small wheel and then making decisions from there as to what I feel like working on, because I'm very much a mood person, or like how much brain power I have, basically. So, alright, that's it from me. So, as I said, subscribe if you want to see more of this. I'm going to try to post every 2 weeks, usually around the 1st and around the 15th, and give you guys an update on my small corner of the internet. Leave me a comment, tell me what you think. If you made it this far, I would love if you put a moon emoji, because Sailor Moon is the best. So, and once again, I'm going to end this with, you are enough, you are loved, and you will kick ass.